Hello, Nevi here. We couldn't get together to do a proper podcast, so this is an episode of the Oldcast from way back when. Enjoy. Bye.
Hello everybody and welcome to the very first episode of the GamerTime UK podcast. Finally, I've got off my arse after about 8 months of saying I'm going to do this, and we're going to do it. So I'm joined with one of our editors, Nevi.
Hello.
And from across the pond, we have Chris, one of our writers and PC reviewers.
Hey, I'm not in the UK at all.
Not even slightly.
Nor do I sound like it.
Hey, you've got kind of a British accent going on.
Yeah, that's the first I've ever anyone's told me
UK.
that.
So how are we, guys? Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in like sweatpants right now. It's great.
I'm going to say I'm in just a t-shirt, nothing else.
Nice.
In my
All
work outfit.
House is really warm. try not to picture it. But how's this week been? We're busy, aren't we?
Yeah.
Are you busy? I'm assuming you're busy, because I haven't stopped. It's just games galore.
Between
Oh,
games coming out,
yeah.
between games
yeah.
and like I'm, a student, it just never ends.
Oh, student, I hated being a student. I did 4 years at university.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was the first year. I just completely failed miserably. But that's what happens when you get an Xbox.
I quite like being a student. I think in my third year I finally became like a good student, and then by the time I learned how to be a student, it was over. And
Like, oh, wait, no, wait.
And then it was like,
Redo.
Like the hard work starts in the third year.
yeah, I was like, I can do this now, and then it finished, and I was like, I fucked up the other year though.
I don't mind it. I kind of like it because I'm studying journalism, so like the classes are essentially just like, hey, go out and be a journalist, but don't get paid for it. Have fun.
And that's where it's handy right for us, I
really
suppose,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah, right.
We get your work for free, and then you get to put us on your degree.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, win-win.
But so, what we're looking forward to this week or next? Because for me, it's Street Fighter. And I mean, I hate Street Fighter, but I'm still looking forward to it.
That doesn't make any sense.
And it looks good. Like, I've always been a big Tekken man myself. Always loved Tekken. Had that ever since I had my first PlayStation. And then bit of Mortal Kombat here and there. And with Mortal Kombat last year, finally coming onto a platform that I have, I can play it. I got a bit more into him.
I think you're the first person I've met that likes Tekken more.
Really?
That
can't be right.
I
can't be right.
grew up with Tekken more than Street Fighter, and I used to play it a lot more.
Really?
I don't really do fighting games that much, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the sort of glory age of Soul Calibur, and actually one fighting game I do
the
really
original
like.
Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
Was it
Soul Calibur.
Soul Blade, I think it was
Yeah,
called.
Soul
wasn't
Blade. No, I like Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2 is my go-to fighting game.
it? Do you remember Soul Blade having that guy with just the gigantic sword who was clearly overcompensating for something?
Oh, it has loads of that. Soul Calibur is the weirdest game for character models. It's bizarre. There's Voldo, who's basically like
Oh, he's the Edward
BDSM
Scissorhands,
guy. He's just sort of like
Yeah.
thrusting at the ceiling, and
whips chains and scissor fingers.
yeah, it's it's weird as hell. But I like the Guilty Gear series actually. I really like the music, to be honest, and the sort of the characters are all a bit wacky. You guys ever played any of the Guilty Gear games?
No, I've been more like if you're talking wacky characters or just pointless stuff like Dead or Alive.
Well, Dead or Alive is
That
just,
game is just purely 100% tits.
yeah, but I don't even. It's not even like in a good way. It's just
No,
like why?
It's almost it's
Uh,
the exact opposite of a turn on.
yeah.
Bizarre.
It's just like there must be a function on their game engine for like extra jiggle, and they tick it, and every time one of them punches, it's just her whole chest just shakes up and down.
Those
Yeah.
that
I had it on PlayStation Now.
I think
Just
Dead or
because I didn't
Alive.
get a copy.
I think it was a third one. It was on the original Xbox was the first fighting game, besides like Smash Brothers, if you count that I got into.
Yeah. So it
Did it take you that long to get like Tekken for that PS1? When like I can't remember which one it was. It might have been like Tekken 5, and it was Heihachi, but he had like it was the boss, and he had just this burning like his whole chest was just on fire the whole time.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of that towards the end, doesn't it? It kind of goes properly mental.
Yeah, always towards the end as well.
And it's like, oh, this is just like a fighting game, and then it goes, and then there's like weird, like half god people, and all this is
like
a bear.
Devil Jin and Angel and Kuma, whatever is the bear.
Yeah.
Was it no Roger the kangaroo?
And the kangaroo, bizarre stuff. But
and the little dinosaur lizard guy.
Yeah, there's bizarre stuff. But Guilty Gear has like a guy with who fights with like a porcue, and like another one who's like a doctor, and he carries a scalp and cuts you up with it. It's really odd. Or a lady who carries a giant
regular
anchor.
people.
Yeah, and it's a really weird sort of universe. But actually, like, I find the fighting system to be. It's one of my favourite ones, I suppose. It's like it makes sense, and it's like has a good sort of comboing more so where I think sort of Street Fighter is a bit more sort of like jab and block and stuff, whereas Guilty Gear and stuff like that's more combo-y, which like you can juggle people in the air and stuff. So
that's what I found with so I kind of separated it into two, because you've got like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, the kind of the simpler ones.
Yeah.
If you would be like Mortal Kombat, it's always usually 2-button. I don't know, left down square forward, and a little bit of that. Where Tekken and Killer Instinct as well, all about high combos, juggling.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The 10-hit combos in Tekken. I spent I think a good portion of like my childhood just really like trying my best to get Hwoarang's like 10-move kick juggle thing, and I never got it. Like I wasted so much of my life doing it. But I think it's the ultimate, hitting that 10-hit combo or a 100-hit combo on Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I don't think I've played a fighting game in quite a long time though, actually.
I think the moment you just called Street Fighter one of the simpler ones, a million people's heads explode somewhere. I heard it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the internet's just gonna batter me for this. But Tekken looks better. It plays better as well, I find.
Yeah.
But that might change tomorrow once we get our hands on Street Fighter 5.
And
I think one of the things about Street Fighter as well, especially the fourth one, like the voices when they like especially the English ones, like for Ryu and stuff, they're like these massive men, and some of the voices are just really like they don't seem to fit with like what the character actually looks like. Ryu's voice always seems a bit too high pitched. It has this weird like dichotomy of like how it comes across, and it's like what?
I know, the best thing for me is, I mean, I'll keep ranting about Tekken. But on one of the modes where you just keep fighting people over and over and over again.
Yeah.
After you've got past like the first 10 and you start repeating characters, they start having really, really stupid items.
Yeah.
So like, I had Brian, like the old school half robot guy who's just hard as nails, come out in like a tutu and a halo, with like a long blonde wig on. Or Yoshimitsu comes out and he's just got bowling pins on his back for some fucking stupid reason.
Yoshimitsu. Best fighting game character ever.
Oh, that's a tough call.
I think that's true.
He's in so many games though, isn't he?
He's just hilarious. He
kind of spans, because he was in old Soul Calibur and that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And Soul Blade, and he's been in Tekken.
He's like a weirdly
something else.
He's like a weirdly
Everything
serious
Bandai
comic
Namco.
character.
Yeah, he's terrifying as well. That guy in real life would be fucking horrific.
He's like sort of half Deadpool-y sometimes. He's just fucking off. He's off his rocker.
Yeah, he's a bit mental, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be nice to get our hands on Street Fighter, and hopefully, for anyone listening, we will have the review out by the time this goes live.
yeah,
with any luck.
I'm curious about what they're doing for the story-wise, because I hear, kind of following in the footsteps of the last two Mortal Kombats, which had actually well-received plots and like single-player campaigns.
Yeah, like the Mortal Kombat single player last year was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how it interchanged characters as well.
It's kind of setting like this new kind of standard for single-player and fighting games, because that's always kind of been an afterthought. Like, who really cares?
I think Tekken's first attempt at it was just so long-winded. I'm not sure if you ever played it, but I think it took me 8 hours. I think it was Tekken 6. Where they've always had a storyline, they've always had a plot, obviously. But they did it was a campaign, so you'd get slightly less powered kind of brutes, like, and basically all of them are gunjacks.
Mm.
And then every now and then you'll have a boss, and that boss is one of the characters of the game. But it was just so long-winded and repetitive. But it's a fighting game. If you're not going to fight, unless you do bowling like Tekken Tag did.
That was ace.
Yoshimitsu bowling and strike was someone else.
I suppose the difference actually between Tekken and Street Fighter is Tekken's a 3D fighter, because you can pivot around the map, rather than map around the arena, and Street Fighter is purely 2D. So maybe that's what you prefer, to be honest.
Yeah, see,
like
Mortal Kombat brought a hint of that in, didn't they?
Mm.
Well, it wasn't quite pivoting, but you could use the background of the scene more, so it was kind of not just left to right. It had that added depth.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
But then when realism's, well, there seems to be more of them are going the realistic approach now, so they're going to have to start throwing that stuff in just to get more people on board. You know, everything's got to have something different now because it's all been done before.
I don't think we could overly praise Mortal Kombat for its plot. I mean, it's taken them like fucking
the best part of 100 years
to get a plot that's coherent and not just fucking bullshit.
Yeah, see, Tekken's is just confusing now. They're all fucking related.
Everyone
is just related to everyone. Like, what's going to happen next is like, what is it? Moku Jin, that thing who's made out of trees, is going to be Jin's second son from a bar night fling with Yoshimitsu.
I have no idea.
It's going to be ridiculous. But right, I'll move on to Unravel, the game everyone is excited for.
Yay!
That
it's cute.
Just can't stand at all. See, if you listen to this podcast, what you're going to notice, it's just going to be a lot of me saying I hate games. Because they're all shit.
He's a sour bugger.
I am. I'm never happy. There's like 2 games I like, but I'll get onto them later. I might be positive at some point. We'll just go.
For whatever games you like, I'm just going to shit on them personally.
Yeah, you may as well.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Just cover all
ever gonna be anything. Everything you guys like, I'm just going to be there like, oh, it's so shit.
So why don't you like Unravel? It's so adorable, and like the story at E3 was like, actual like emotion, and E3 and EA don't do emotion.
Yeah, see, that's what I think everyone's most excited for. It's not necessarily the game.
Yeah.
It's EA's finally done something that isn't football, or sports, or driving. I mean, I know they took on, well, they've had Dragon Age, and there's been like other side things, but to take a game that just looks like an actual game, you know, it's not a simulator of any kind.
Yeah,
it's
and like
just...
the fact that they gave like at their E3 stage this tiny game time.
Oh yeah, when they spend so much on Madden and FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bitch and moan about it, but that's just because I think it was overhyped. And when I say overhyped, we heard nothing about the game, but everyone else was still really excited for it. And there's nothing worse than being really excited for a game and then just absolutely detesting it when you get on it. So if anything, I'm just pissed off with EA for leading me on, ruining my hopes and dreams.
We've all been there with EA, to be honest.
But, I mean, like, I'll tell you why I don't like it, as opposed to just bitching about it. So what it is, it's a side-scroller. Think Little Big Planet meets something a little bit more emotional. And without all the kind of like physics stuff. I mean, there is physics stuff, obviously. You're this ball of yarn.
Mm.
And there's a little menu at the start, kind of reminiscent of the old Mario. You know how you used to walk to get into the next map?
Yeah.
And then you come out and you go up to the next map, and kind of like that. What they've done is you're walking around the house, and you're stopping by objects and photographs for memories. So you'll pick, say, this memory and go in, and then you kind of play through it. And the whole background's all... How do I describe it? It's all part of that memory. So rather than telling you the story, it's kind of letting you all the visuals do it for you.
Oh, that sounds quite cool, though.
Which it sounds cool, but it's just a bit wanky. Does
it come across just a bit?
You're just expecting a narrator, and I mean, it's a nice. I don't know. It's a nice game, I'd say. I mean, it does look good. It plays. It does play quite well, but it just needs something else.
Yeah.
And with games like that, so if you're going to play them for a prolonged period of time, there needs to be something else there, rather than... I mean, it's a game that's probably effectively been done on multiple platforms for the last 20 years, other than it's just a slightly different concept, bearing in mind you have a piece of string
Like, what kind
to kind of pull yourself about with.
does it do anything to kind of separate itself from like the pack of 2D platformers?
I think it's gone for the emotion sense more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't... The whole... I mean, so you're running around this piece of yarn, and the further you go into the map, like, you lose... It's almost as if you're losing health. So once you run out of yarn, you're basically this kind of crippled old little piece of yarn. But you can't go any further forward.
Right.
So what you have to do is, on your way along, you have to pick up like more yarn to make yourself kind of whole again, if you will. Kind of like health. But rather than killing you, what it does is it just stops you progressing at all. And then you can pick up you can hang on the pieces of string, so I can throw it up over a tree branch, for example, and pull myself up it to get to like a little platform up there, or I can throw the piece of string on something and then tug the piece of string and I can move objects and stuff.
Is it worth playing, regardless of like the puzzles maybe being a bit chunky, of just sort of playing it for like a nice story, a bit like a platformer meets walking simulator? Is it worth playing if you like just want a nice little plot?
Yeah. See, now that I've played it, I'd say no, but only because I'd say it's still worth playing because it does look good. Like, I'm not going to fault it on its graphics, but like the worst thing, there isn't really a story as such. So if you're looking for a game that's solely narrative based, or something that's going to give you this really nice, heart wrenching, emotional story, this isn't going to be it.
That's a shame.
Like, it's not like the start of Last of Us, where you're going to be all upset because someone dies. Because you're not. You're just going to be like, oh, I'm a piece of string. I don't care. Because I'm just some yarn.
But how long does it take to play?
I mean, I haven't fully completed it, but I've heard it's about 5 hours, and I've done about 4.
Okay.
So, I've just got the ending.
Getting close and stuff.
But 4 hours of no story, even if there was 4 hours with complete story now, I think I'd still be pissed off.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Because, I mean, there's some, but it's just not concrete enough, you know. You look for depth when you look for stories, not... But, I mean, as a simple platformer, it's playable.
What all games strive to be.
You guys will play it,
It's
and you'll fucking love
technically
it
a game,
because...
I don't know.
Yeah. But is it even a game? You can't lose. If we get philosophical about it, if you have to win or lose, you just can't. You get stuck in this parallel of I'm just a piece of string.
Maybe like
those are games where you can't lose and it's still a game.
Yeah, maybe losing is just when you quit and don't finish it, you know? It's more
Yeah.
personal, like
Yeah, when you start a podcast and just start ranting about it, that's how you lose.
you've lost.
Yeah.
You guys tell me about Firewatch, because that was out this week. And I know, Never, you've been playing it.
Yeah, I have. You see, now you said that Unravel has like this not emotional story. Now, Firewatch hits you like a ton of bricks with an emotional story right at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Guys, have you ever
Holy
seen
shit.
Have you ever seen the Pixar movie Up?
Yeah, yeah.
You know how like the first like 20 minutes is just a big gut punch?
I can't really remember it that fondly.
Well, for anyone that does remember Up,
Oh, wait, is this when they just right at the start where she dies?
yeah.
Yeah.
Firewatch.
Kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen Up, sorry. She dies.
whatever. It's like barely into the movie. Firewatch starts in a very similar way.
Yeah. It's really hard to talk about Firewatch actually without spoiling bits of Firewatch.
Yeah.
It's beautiful though. Just wandering around it's really lovely. And it is very like, especially the beginning bit, it's just like I wasn't expecting this at 7 in the evening after a long day at work.
I know, like, 'cause, like, all the, like, the pre-release stuff I looked at was, like, showing those, the two characters, the Firewatchers, just talking. They always seemed kind of funny and, like, kind of, having a good time.
Yeah.
And I expected, like, this tight, well-written, funny game, and I got the exact opposite immediately.
Yeah.
Is it, so what kind of game is it? What genre?
It's a walking simulator, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It unfolds its
like
narrative.
walking simulator, are you thinking something like Telltale Games style, or?
More like...
'Cause I'd call them kind of walking simulators.
Yeah, more like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah, they're, like, gone
okay.
home.
Yeah,
Kinda.
like that. Yeah. So, kind of after you've done the intro bit, you've just taken a job as a guy who keeps an eye out for fires in a forest, and you just that's it. Kind of unfolds through that. So you'll go to various locations. The plot will unfold like that. One of my favourite things that the game does is when you sort of call things in. You've got a radio on you at all times, and you'll call things into the person at the other end, and you'll be like, "That's a creek over there. It's a pain in the arse. How am I going to get across it?" And you'll do a bit of chat across the thing, and then you'll kind of half name it because it doesn't already have a name, and then that'll appear on your map that you carry around with you, the name that you've just said. I just find that's a really, it just really makes the world sort of come together in a really great way. Of
just that attention to little details.
Yeah. And the first time it happened, I was like, "Oh, that's really good. I'm really pleased with that."
It's kind of like that moment when they announced the Division at E3, and the guy creeps behind the car as he's shooting, and he knocks the door with his knee, and the door shuts, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, the door shuts!" Kind of attention to detail.
I suppose.
Everyone went mental at that moment. But I always found games like that having that nice, anything that puts that really extra touch on, just little tiny things that make that whole user experience a bit better.
Yeah.
It's kind of more games I'll respond to.
Yeah, because Firewatch is kind of it's half open world, but not really, because it'll have you need to go east and deal with something on the east, so you'll kind of wander off east. So you can either go along the track because it's easier, or you can try and find a different way around. But
yeah, all the pathways are very well constructed and guided.
Yeah, it's kind of like a guided open world, I'd say then.
So kind of linear, but at times you can explore it.
Yeah, you're free to go wherever.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's still open world. It's still free to go wherever, but it's kind of limited to the ways in which you can get to places. And I take it.
All the pathways to different landmarks are all very tight, well constructed, and you're going that way. You're not gonna really deviate from the path too much.
No.
But it still feels big. You still feel like you're in a forest.
Oh yeah, it does. And it looks lovely. It's just sort of when you climb some of the towers and you look out over it, it just looks awesome.
It's really a very gorgeous game.
Yeah, definitely.
And as the sun is setting and the whole forest starts to turn orange from that initial vibrant green, and it looks like a forest. At the end of the day, if you don't like the way forests look, you're not going to be impressed with this game.
Yeah, if you're not into nature.
But it is.
Well, overall impressions is good though, right?
Yeah, it's
which is what we like. A bit of positivity,
wonderfully,
especially in this podcast with me in it.
So far it's brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, sweet. Well, next week, hopefully, you've completed it, and we'll get some proper impressions on it, and hopefully get a review out or two.
Yeah, Nevi, how far are you into it right now?
I've done about maybe 2 hours.
Okay, so we're probably about around the same.
And have you heard much about runtime, as in how long the game is, or?
No, I actually haven't. I looked somewhere that I saw because you go through days. It's day 1, day 2. I saw somewhere that people were on like day 76 or something.
Okay, but I'm assuming that quests aren't timed, so you could theoretically do the first mission and then do the second one on day 400. Not that you'd do that. I mean, who stands around between the first and second mission?
No, because everything is. The day progresses as you complete the path you're on.
Okay, so it is kind of timed.
It is. There's no timer that's going by, but once you get to 50% through the mission, quote unquote, of the day, the sun will be in this position. So you could just stand somewhere for hours and nothing will change.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
You'll hit a point where it goes 6 miles to that pile that you were heading towards, and then you'll sort of notice as you get closer, the sun will start to droop and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet. Well, I'm definitely going to have to get onto it at some point. Once I complete the other, like I said, 6 reviews I've got. But yeah, so what's the part about it? Most of our reviews come in codes, right? So digital download codes, and I'll either distribute them or Mike will distribute them to other people. But this week it's been the week of hard copies.
Really?
And like for me, like for us to be able to get the review out on time, once I've got the copy, usually I have to speed play through the whole game, or most of the game, depending on the game, and then pump a review out, so we're still getting it out at a decent time.
What have you had?
Because otherwise, I'd be getting it, and I'll be posting the game back out to someone, which could take another 2 days to get to you. And a good example is actually Sebastian Loeb Rally, which I've been playing. So Colin McRae Rally, for those of you who don't follow the rally scene, with a different name.
Me neither.
No, yeah, I don't either. I mean, I know of the guy, but that's kind of as far as it goes.
Right.
So I've been playing that all week, as well as I had Lego Marvel Avengers as well to get through.
Oh, is that good?
It was.
I love the Lego games.
For me, it's the best Lego game there is, other than Lego Dimensions. And then again, those two aren't necessarily comparable because of how different they actually are.
Yeah.
But of the Lego game of its type, it's definitely the best I've played.
Grand. That's good.
Because it just hits all the main points from all the big movies, with all the main characters, and then their character roster's about 1 million characters.
Yeah.
And just ones you never heard of, like High Five Man. I don't think he's a real one.
I love that guy.
There's just yeah, our favourite, just spreading morale
he always
across
gives
the
me
world.
bumps, like, I can do this.
Yeah, Fist Bump Man, his sidekick, just comes when you do something cool, and just a nice cheeky fist bump.
I'm definitely gonna pick
So I've
that
been playing
one up.
that. That was my other hard copy.
Cool.
And obviously, Dying Light came out this week. Well, Dying Light Year 2, the following it's called. You guys haven't played Dying Light, have you?
No, I haven't.
No.
Do tell.
I hear it's
Sorry.
bad.
Yeah, you wish. the one game I've got to be positive about. Because last year for me it was my vote for Game of the Year. Not that my vote counts for anything, but it was
Just by the
second
way.
highest rated game on the website after The Witcher,
Ha!
which I just can't understand. But
Well, that's because that was...
I might rant a bit more about The Witcher later.
You're wrong, Mike. That's all it is.
wrong.
You're just wrong.
I stand by the Witcher review.
Yeah, I got a perfect 10.
Woo!
I don't normally allow perfect 10s, but because nothing's ever perfect.
I promise it'll be the only
until
one.
I've just played Dying Light a year after they brought it out, and now I'm probably going to bump that up to a 10
Oh, heh.
because I'm going to have to do another review. But so even though you haven't played it, it's kind of RPG, but an action RPG.
Yeah.
Rather than I don't know, whatever the opposite of that is, a non-action RPG. So you get lots of looting, lots of weapon crafting, and with it being zombie based, just lots of zombies.
Yeah.
And
by the
they're
same-
taking hints from like Left 4 Dead 2, where they got loads of different zombie types.
Yeah.
Um,
It's by the same
at
people who
nighttime
did. Is it by the same people who did Dead Island?
yeah, kind of similar,
Yeah.
but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, it's good.
Techland, right? Was the developer?
They're a Polish company, I believe.
You know who else is a
But-
Polish company? CD
Go on.
Projekt Red, and they make the Witcher.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's a good
You
game.
glare at
Oh,
each
what-
other
what ga-
across.
What game? What game did they make?
It's called
The Watcher, was
it's
it?
called the
The
It's
Watcher.
called the Firewatcher.
The Firewatch. But no, for me, Dying Light, it's just like because I hate RPGs. I'll be the first to admit it and rant and just tell you all why they're all shite. But it's I don't know. It's when I say action RPG, it's when there's nothing to do, there's something to do because you're usually surrounded by about 150 zombies and you can't get anywhere. And the Year 2 kind of follows on from the main story, which I won't spoil for you completely. But it focuses around a cult who can't get infected.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out the reasons why they can't get infected, and it's all kind of really weird culty crap, pretty much, but told in a way
Give
which
away
is
with words.
yeah. I'm a lyricist. That's what I am. Wait till I start spitting bars. But and then they've thrown in the nice welcome edition of cars. I say cars, they're Dune buggies, which you can customise the hell out of.
Cool. Like
So,
from
like-
Mad Max, like that sort of deal.
Think kind of, what was it, Dead Rising.
Oh,
You
right.
play Dead Rising, where you
Yeah.
could, well, not to that detail where you could cross a bulldozer and a motorbike and get this insane fucking thing,
Yeah.
but kind of like there's a landmine dropper on it as an upgrade.
Oh, cool.
So if I'm getting chased by something, I can drop a landmine and hopefully kill them, and they won't kill me,
Right.
kind of thing. And safe zones are all UV lights, so when you're running around at night time, if you get somewhere with this UV light, the zombies can't get you. So what they do is there's an attachment where you can get UV lights on your car. So when they're anywhere near you, you hit the UV and they'll leave you alone for a few seconds.
Zombies don't like UV
But,
light.
like, if there's anything you're going to play the game for, and you have to do it, it's just for the night time. Like, I've never really got into any horror genres, and this isn't really horror, but there's just so many jump scares, it's unreal. Like, I've thrown controllers across the room in fear, just because I couldn't take it. Like, you'll be running, and at night time, they're called volatiles, they run really fast, and they beat the fucking living crap out of you.
Yeah.
And I keep getting hammered and dying, like, left, right and centre. But on a night time, so you'll be running from it, and there's a button to look back. So you'll hold Y as you're running, and you'll look back, and he'll be, like, right up in your grill. And you expected him to be, like, a good 10 metres behind you. And he's right there. And then you just don't have time to turn back and run. And by which point, he's attacked you and ripped your face off, pretty much.
Sorry, I'm just laughing it up in your grill.
I told you, man, the ghetto comes out in me when I podcast.
Oh, dear. yeah, it does
It's
apparently.
because I'm on the mic, you know.
Up in your
Can't have a
grill.
microphone in front of me.
Sorry, Mike.
But that's like the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's alright.
It's kind of like kind of near you, wouldn't be as effective as right up in your grill.
Yeah.
You know, like right there over your shoulder.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so I sunk about 40 hours into that this week since
Okay.
Tuesday.
Since Tuesday.
That's on top of my
Whoa.
yeah.
You have a full-time job.
I know, yeah, on top of my full-time job. That is.
Jesus.
Wasn't lying when I said I didn't sleep.
Oh God. How do you function?
I don't.
Right. Oh, fair enough.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that
kind
explains
of,
it.
I'm kind of floating through life. Just kind of hovering. But,
God.
yeah, it's definitely... for me, I would say it's the game of the year. It got good, decent reviews all around, and this time around, from what I've read of other people's, it's getting good reviews across the board as well. But I think it's nice to see a game that brings out a decent DLC in terms of, like, size. Because there's just so much to do, and the map itself is, I think they said twice as big as the original maps,
Well, that
and
is
the original maps were massive.
Yeah, because quite often DLCs get sort of released and they're kind of so uninspiring. It's like a lot of the Batman
especially
ones were just like
story-based DLCs,
What?
like the Batman stuff, like you're saying.
Yeah, it was
they're
just
just a bit crap.
throwaway. Like it was the complete opposite of the rest of the game. It just felt
Yeah,
so like polished and well done, and the DLC was just like, why?
It's kind of shoehorned in.
It really was, yeah. And it was. The game probably would have just been better if they'd just not done them.
I mean, it's kind of becoming like I'd say a new old age debate, which seems to be going on for so long now. Is will you just finish a game before you fucking release it, please?
Yeah.
Instead of making me pay for all these features you should have put in the game. Like Battlefront's a perfect example. Like, they give a little bit of free content, but now if you got the season pass, or you get these tiny little extra features which probably should have been in the game originally.
Yeah.
And it feels like people are just kind of working to timelines instead of working to quality.
I mean that's often the case though. They have like
But I mean, like, we bitch, like we're never happy, are we? We bitch and moan when the division gets pushed back a year, just to make it better. But then we bitch and moan when they pushed Battlefront out really quick and it wasn't really ready. Like this is, I mean, it's probably a fine balance, but I mean, there's no pleasing us.
I mean, personally,
Gamers are the worst of the worst to please.
I'd rather have a game be pushed back than put out early.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, the Division was, I think, originally supposed to be out a year ago, or over a year ago, and they pushed it back. And I mean, if they had to push it back by a year, you know, you'd probably rather them do that than release the shit that they probably would have released a year ago. You know.
That's true. That is true.
Which brings us on to Division, because there's an open beta out soon. February 18th, I believe.
Did either of you get into the closed beta?
Yeah, I was in the closed beta.
No, I know
But,
absolutely nothing about the Division really, apart from the one trailer and a little bit of E3 that I saw. So.
Oh wow, you haven't seen anything since
wow,
E3?
mate, I have no. I don't. I was not. Not really. I don't really do shooters very often, so I just sort of very rarely pick them up.
So you're in luck because it's an RPG shooter.
I do like
Which is
Destiny, but Destiny's just quite fun because you're a mad spaceman running around and shooting lasers out your hands. I don't imagine
Yeah,
you
see,
get
that's
to do
like
that.
kind of one thing with the Division is, I think the not being in space part.
Yeah.
You lose a massive variety of what you can do. Obviously, types of enemies. What have you got? People-wise, you've got people.
What about people?
Oh, you can have males and females, and then you can do animals a bit here and there. Which I'm not sure. What are you going to get in New York City? A fox. Get chased by a fox. I don't think that's going to work.
No.
Whereas obviously in space, you can just create these mad, insane,
Yeah.
fucking gnarly people like. What's it? Crota. Crota was
So
just
what happens in the beta?
an insane abomination. But so did you get Night at all, Chris?
No, but I was trying to. I've been trying to keep up with news and kind of what the hearsay is about it, and I'm kind of interested but tentative, mostly because kind of like what you've been saying. How much can you really do with kind of this, not even like post-apocalyptic world, like almost, kind of.
Yeah, it's not even like it's not. Oh, I mean, it is post-apocalyptic in the sense that the city's kind of done.
Yeah, it's like the place is abandoned and all that, but I don't know it. And you kind of had that suspension of disbelief when you like, you know, because it's an RPG and like everything's stat driven. So when you're shooting a villain or bad guy or whatever, and he's like a bullet sponge.
Yeah.
It's easy to accept that when it's an alien. It's like, sure, aliens are tough, whatever. But like that
they can
man,
have skin made out of planets. Why
yeah,
not?
that man can't take, 1,000 bullets.
He's got mad armor, maybe. Like, loads.
Yeah, but
of-
it's not Fallout, and he's in one of those big, massive metal suits.
Oh, they
He's
should-
just in a jumper.
Really should introduce mechs. That would be really cool, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's not
Down the
quite
line.
futuristic enough.
They
I
need
think
mechs.
it's kind of set real date, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
or within a couple of years of where we are now. Not like
I suppose if it's kind of like DayZ, a bit more, that might be nicer. But I suppose it's because, like I said, it's so stat driven. It's hard to be that sort of like permadeath realism.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, from what I played, obviously there wasn't a whole massive load of story in the beta, with it being a beta. But from what I played, the story was good. Like it seemed like it had what's the word, substance. Like it's kind of a nice change from the post-apocalyptic being. Only whilst it is kind of a terrorist attack, it's not someone's just come and bombed the place.
What's happening?
You know, what they've done is they've made infected money and let everyone, and then rush it into the Black Friday sales around Christmas.
Oh, right.
So everyone's exchanging money, and the kind of virus is spreading that way.
Ah.
Rather than like on a zombie game, it might be, oh, there's a virus, everyone's got it,
Yeah.
and some people haven't. Whereas this kind of gives you a good explanation into it.
I suppose that whole thing's quite an interesting commentary on sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like commercial, where the world works and stuff. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah. But it's good. It's like it has a degree of realism. Like I think, I mean, I'm not by any means an expert on global scale terrorism or money for that matter.
That's good.
But
That's how you
good
get
to
on
know.
that
yeah,
list.
thank God.
We've been on this
But,
call
like-
for 48 minutes, and now you tell us you're not into terrorism.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I might have to end the call now. But no, like, I feel like it's something that could actually happen.
Hmm.
Like, it's not way out to think that could be possible, is it? Someone, I mean, maybe not on the scale of the game is, but
Yeah, no.
surely there's a degree of realism there, which I think brings you into another. You can relate to the game more.
Yeah.
If you're with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder when they have like that, and then it's like, now go collect a gun that has +4, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, what?
Oh, this gun's the exact same gun, but it's more powerful.
Yeah, and it's
How
like,
can
no,
that
we're
be?
just back in the same thing that got us here in the first place of this wanting more, wanting this, wanting that.
But I mean, there's loads of like
stuff.
skill trees and stuff. So it's. I mean, my problem with it, again, hating RPGs, is it's just too RPG. But I feel like you can't cross an RPG with a real life shooter.
Yeah.
Like RPG combat, yeah, because you can kind of medieval it up or something like that. And that's kind of the more traditional RPG, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then RPG futuristic, where anything can kind of go, because the future doesn't really exist. If we're going to get all deep and philosophical about it. But, like, I don't know. I think with a shooter games are about action, or you can get a stealth shooter, kind of, but they're never RPG format, where you kind of.
Yeah, I suppose like.
I don't know. I feel they don't mix as well as they should.
Yeah, I suppose Borderlands is like the closest thing to that, in that it has lots of people in it that you're shooting.
Yeah, and that was my thing with Borderlands. There was quite a lot to do in Borderlands.
Yeah.
Whereas I got the impression from the beta, and I know it's only a beta, so I could crack the game open when we get it, and then it's a completely different game, because that's how betas usually work. But my feeling is, a beta, especially an open beta, less than a month before release, not much is going to change.
Not really. I wouldn't have...
or be added. I mean, sure, story and content,
but
it just didn't seem like there was enough to it.
Yeah, I'd expect it'll be balancing tweaks and stuff. They'll be doing it just...
I mean, the multiplayer aspect was different, which I liked. So it's called the Dark Zone, and rather than going into like a multiplayer mode, you walk into the city and you kind of just freely walk into another part of the city, and that's your multiplayer zone right there.
Well, that's quite good. I like that.
So yeah, I suppose there's not really any loading in and out. There's like 5-10 seconds here or there to get through the gates and whatever.
Yeah.
But they've kind of got like Destiny has your vendors are there. So you walk in, your vendors are there at the door, and then you walk through the next door into this quarantine zone, and that's kind of your multiplayer area.
Yeah.
And what happens is any weapons that you loot off people or from like weapons chests and stuff, you can only get them back into your real world game by doing a helicopter extraction.
Right.
If that makes sense. So you'll see on the trailer people are like they're extracting, and you got to hold it's kind of like holding a capture point for like a minute and a half. Or what you can do is once you're there, kill all your teammates, steal their loot, and extract yourself.
I forgot about that bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that's.
But what happens is as standard, you're always a good person, and then once you kill someone like one of your teammates, you turn into a rogue, and then you get marked on the map, and everyone gets points for killing you.
Yeah.
So when I walked in the first time, I was just like, oh, there's loads of people here. What happens if I shoot someone? I shoot one person. And then I looked left, and there's about 20 people across the map, all just launching grenades at me, hammering me with bullets, and I died in about 3 seconds. But it's a nice balance, so you can't just go in and kill someone and take their stuff, because they will respawn, and if they can get back to you in time, they can always get their stuff back.
Right. Yeah.
And the other time I played, there was a team of you squads of 4 people, but it looked like it was just 2 teams of 4 ranked together. And they were just holding this one spot, and we were all like level 8 or 9, and I'm not sure how high the level cap was, but they were just so far apart from us because they've just spent a good 6 hours by the looks of it holding one point, killing people and taking their stuff. And then once they do the extraction, then you get to use that in your campaign mode.
Right.
So you have to do that to. I mean, it looks good, but I think from what I've seen in the beta, it just needs a little bit more. But then I'm saying that about every single game, so maybe it's just me.
These are betas, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I'm hoping with it being a beta that
games come
when they throw all the content in, and they're kind of just testing concepts and stuff, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you might find you open the game and all of a sudden there's just an insane amount of stuff.
So with like the mission structure then, outside of the multiplayer, is it all like instance-based, where you can kind of... What's the rest of the city that's not the Dark Zone? Is that just sort of hub where you...
Oh yeah, so you can unlock... So as you're walking through, each kind of section of the city had like a level range.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like recommended level, similar to how Destiny has for its missions.
Yeah.
Like your level should be, I don't know, level whatever.
Yeah.
And your enemies will be easier.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it's fully open world. And the Dark Zone is just one kind of aspect of the city.
Right. Okay.
And then as obviously you don't want to walk into a level 40 part of the city whilst you're level 5.
Yeah.
Because they are definitely just going to sponge bullets.
Yeah.
Which I think, whilst they didn't open the whole map originally on the beta, it looks huge. Like it's fairly big. Just what we had. It was the right mission to run to the Dark Zone. Once I got there, I just didn't want to leave because I'd have to run all the way back to the fucking start of the game.
That's rubbish. Yeah.
And it seems like it's one of the games where you're not going to get any cars or bikes to ride around on, so it's just going to be a constant running everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put in...
At least give me a horse. Give me some of the New York police horses. And a baton.
No, the horses died. They were out spending money. Man, like...
yeah, they shouldn't have been all shopping, getting some new coats.
Gotta get some hooves.
Some new boots to stroll around in.
So what's like the what exactly is this, like, your character's story, and like what are you trying to accomplish or get at?
Okay, so from what there was in the beta, if I remember right, I might be a little off, but you're a government agent of some sorts, sent in to initially, I think, make contact with a team that has gone dark.
Mm.
And throughout the game, obviously in the city, all these kind of bandits have formed, and you're trying to secure the safety of everyone in the city and take out all these groups as part of the division. If that makes sense. It was a little vague, I know. But I didn't.
You're there to shoot people.
Yeah, basically,
Oh,
you're just there
with
to
this, then
go and kill people.
like, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's standard like regular people. There's all civilians running around, but then there's these bandits who keep stealing all the loot drops, and you're going in there to take out these bandits in like terrorist cell. And yeah, the first couple of missions were all kind of terrorist based, and I went mine straight on hard, just because I hate playing games on easy. Because either they never seem to get the balance right, they're too easy or too hard. So I went straight into hard, and the first mission I was shooting took me about an hour, and I had to get Mike and one of the other guys, Connor, off, and just jump in a mission together and do it that way, because there was just no way I could do it on my own.
Crikey.
So I mean, there's a nice team play aspect to it, which I think running around, it's one of those games. Running around with one of your friends is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But if you're not with one of your mates, I think it's going to get boring quite fast.
Fair enough.
So we'll do games we want more of, and I didn't tell you guys about this before because I kind of want it to be spontaneous.
Okay.
So it can be any game you've played ever.
Yeah.
That you think they should make a sequel of, or maybe you just want more of the game,
Okay.
or anything like that.
Ooh.
So for me, Infamous. There needs to be a new Infamous, and I think there is the new Infamous coming.
Is there? Oh, that'd be good.
So it's a bit of a cop out because the game's kind of coming. But I was playing them all on PlayStation Now over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so much different to any other open world game.
Yeah, it is.
In the sense, you're just this sick electric guy.
It's really, it's so comic booky and bizarre. It doesn't feel like anything else.
Yeah, and I feel like we'd lack comic book kind of style open world games.
Yeah.
So I want more of those. Like an Avengers game that's just the fucking size of every single open world game we've ever had.
Yeah.
That I can fly around as Iron Man, and just like Lego Marvel Avengers, but real.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, that'd be quite good
I
actually.
mean, it'll never get made, but it'd be sick if it did.
Yeah. Too many licensing issues.
Yeah, that's too big of like a risk for like the properties to take, but that would be immensely cool.
Yeah, an open world Marvel game would just be, or even DC, because they got a few darker characters, I think, than Marvel.
That's true.
They're a little less family.
Kind of got like
They'll be a bit grittier.
the Batman games are kind of like that. But Batman he doesn't feel super. He's super cool, beating up guys is fun, and like that combat system, but something with like powers.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, like I think a Superman game would be one we won't get as well.
Yeah,
because he can fly.
People have tried.
They're never going to give you that because he has to. Well, if you're going to do a Superman game properly, he has to be able to fly.
Yeah.
And then that means you have to have an area big enough in which you can fly around.
That's true.
Then you got to contend with the whole "I'm indestructible."
Yeah. And like, how do you penalise a character who can't really be beaten other than with kryptonite? Well, everyone's just going to have kryptonite guns, and then you have to run away every time.
Yeah.
I think that'd be hard to do.
I think it would. It would. Superman's kind
What about you guys? What do you want more of?
One of my all-time favorite games. It's an RPG, so you probably hate it. Was the you guys remember Jade Empire?
Yes,
No.
on Xbox.
Yes, it was on the Xbox and it was a PC version, and it was the game BioWare made after they did Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, okay.
And it had like this active combat system. It was super simplistic. There's one button block, one button attack, and then there's like power attack and all that. But it had like they built this really grand kind of like Far East inspired mythos around it. Like this whole world with like just these monsters and magic and set in like this Far East setting. So there's, you're dealing with dragons and everything's martial arts styles of fighting.
Dragons and martial arts together, it just sounds awesome anyway.
It's great. It's one
really
of my
good.
all-time favorite games. And like, in fact, I think it was several months ago they put it out for free on Origin for PC, and I just downloaded it and I've been playing through it recently. The first one, because it's the only one that exists. They never made a sequel, which is a huge bummer. They went on to make Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and I love both of those series. That said, I would love more Jade Empire. It'll probably never happen, though. I'm sure.
Too long,
Tell you what,
isn't it?
we'll get an email across and tell them that's what they need to do. And, because we're so important in this gaming world, hopefully they'll listen.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Who wouldn't?
It's worth a shot.
Right.
What about you, Nevin?
Okay, so, I really, really like the first Jak and Daxter game, Precursor Legacy. It's my favourite 3D platformer. I genuinely, it gets everything right, and then it spirals off in this weird bullshit in the other Jak and Daxter games where he runs around with a gun and tries to be all cool, and I hate them.
He's all gritty.
Vehemently hate the other games, and I really want Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy 2 would be brilliant. Or just like, because I played it again when it had the HD up thing on the PS3, and it was just amazing. And then I was like, I'll just try the second and third one again and see if I was wrong about it. I wasn't wrong. They were still shit. Just couldn't do them. They were just lost the soul of how good the first one was. So yeah, that's my thing. I would like a new one of those.
I'm going to add one more as well.
Go on then.
A Pokemon RPG. Real life. Not real life, but...
Yeah, real life. That would be cool.
Not on a handheld console. So the...
like a big,
Yeah.
HD proper...
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, we're not
grand.
HD proper.
Well,
South Park did their RPG.
Yeah, and that was good.
And kind of made it look like South Park. So you could do one that looks like Pokemon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But obviously on a bigger scale. Because I know the games, they do take a while to complete in handheld, but they're all top down and... I don't know, proper... you know how the battles have got in the new Pokemon games?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
Kind of like that, but the whole way through the game I think it'd just be sick. And online everyone's saying, oh, everyone needs that, it'll sell Nintendo's console straight off the shelf. But I think they just need to finally give someone else the rights to do a Pokemon game.
Yeah, they've done
So more Pokemon,
they've done
different
console
publisher.
stuff in the past, but it's never been as detailed as the handheld ones.
No, and it's all Nintendo based.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see a console with a capacity of like the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Kind of have a Pokemon game that will kind of push it, not push it because they don't think it'll ever do that, but use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's just so much more scope that can be done.
I just don't know if like the way the battles work, they'd have to mix them up quite a lot as to how the combat worked in it, because I think that part of the bits that make sort of it's pretty much a grind is Pokemon. It's pretty much a grind with a little bit of plot in it. I don't know how
Classic
enjoyable that would be
JRPG.
sat in my living room if it was just that. I think they need they need to, a bit like how they're refreshing Final Fantasy VII, they need to give it a more interesting way of doing it like that. I don't think they could just like HD it up and keep the rest of it the way it is.
Yeah,
They
there has to be
really
something
need to.
different that doesn't...
'Cause
I'll tell you what annoyed me as well, actually. Whilst I'm still kind of in rant mode.
what are you not in rant mode?
This, I wasn't then when
Oh,
I said I
okay.
wanted a Pokemon
Fair play
RPG.
to you there.
But, did you see that every month they're releasing like a legendary character that you can go pick a code up in game or GameStop in the US, I guess, and put that in and you get a Pokemon. Like this month, you can get a Mew. But what they've done is that Mew is now it's straight away it's level 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I want to throw a Mew into my team and hit the Elite Four, great. But half the part of getting any character is training it up yourself.
Oh, but I started to
And
do this.
a lot of people do this EV training to make it more powerful. I mean, I got it because I've been waiting 20 years for a legit Mew. So I was never old. Wasn't old enough when the games came out to be like, oh, Dad, let's go get a Mew from Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But like now that I want a Mew, I want like we haven't had one for 20 years. Why then give us it fully maxed out? So all we can do is kind of use it a bit.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy Mew.
Yeah.
I love Mew. There's a reason I've got a Mew tattoo.
You have a Mew
Well,
tattoo?
I have a whole Pokemon sleeve.
Crikey.
Wait,
I'm sure you've seen it.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen those ones actually. I don't
I'm
think.
looking into this now. What?
I will put them on our groups tonight so you can have a look.
Is
and
the
tag you in them.
is the photo?
I've got,
of
who have I
the-
got?
of the
Arcanine, Electabuzz, Blastoise, Pikachu, Mew, Charizard, and Articuno at the minute.
That's way too much. I don't believe this.
Oh, not yet, it's not. There's going to be Gengar, and I'm going to have a Mewtwo. And I need maybe a Scyther. I need a grass Pokemon in there because there's too much blue and yellow. But yeah, I'll get some pictures over to you tonight so you can look. And for anyone listening, I will post them on our Twitter and Facebook as well.
Wait,
I
still don't believe
looks
it.
like
I'm gonna see pictures and not believe it. Like I don't know, you drew that just now. Like
You're just gonna go on
that's crazy.
Photoshop.
yeah, I'm actually it's that big. I say big, like on my arm and stuff. That it actually comes up fairly high on the Google rankings. If you can get it on the top 10 Google images, I think. Which considering it's only been on my Facebook and Twitter is a bit bad.
That's hilarious.
It kind of went round a bit, but I'll get some pictures over tonight. You can
Yeah,
have a look.
cheers.
But we will have to leave the recording there because that's an hour, and I've got to trim this down, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. But stuff we didn't talk about that's worth mentioning: Nintendo NX, the new console.
Yeah.
Anyone know about that?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know a lot
Nothing
anyway.
beyond rumors. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
the whole. It won't have discs, or it will be mobile and console, or I don't know, all kinds of. It will be cartridge based again. Like there's been a million things.
Yeah, so all we know that is confirmed is it will not be like the Wii or the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking a different angle. So hopefully that means they're going for a proper home console that doesn't involve... Like the last two you'd say focused on movement and this second screen
Yeah.
kind of thing that hasn't really taken
It's a
off.
shame.
Because no one wants to play their phone and their Xbox.
Yeah,
or
I kind of hope they, because you know how for like Super Smash Brothers they made like 1 million controllers are compatible.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they keep the gamepad compatible with the new one because I just think of stuff like like Mario Maker, and they'll make another one.
What I really liked is Mario Kart as well on the Wii U.
Yeah, I
When you can use the second screen as the second screen for Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So I don't actually have to be sitting in direct view of the television.
I hope they make where that controller can work, but you don't need it.
Well, it's basically a Nintendo DS, isn't it? Just without the gameplay.
Yeah, I really like the second screen. I think it's a shame that the Wii U hadn't as well as it has, because that idea is just going to get lost for loads of years until it finally gets picked up again. Because it's not seen as a commercial success, and I think that's...
And that's if it picks up again, because everyone else thinks VR is the future.
Yeah.
I'll call it now, that's not
Speaking of
taking
VR, really quickly, I've bought myself a Google Card box. What's it called? Google Cardboard thing. And you slot your phone into it. And it's fucking amazing, alright?
Oh, hang on, it's like one of those... Like you see the images around Facebook, and it's like the best way to watch movies, and some guy's got a little bit of sellotape taped around an empty cardboard box over his face.
Kind of.
It's one of those.
It sounds ridiculous. Basically, it's this little cardboard thing that you've set up. You slot your phone into it. It's got two sort of magnets in the back that work on like an NFC way to press buttons and stuff with them, and it puts the whole screen in 3D because of the way it's in your face. It's like a VR headset.
You have no
for
peripheral vision.
It is like a VR headset.
You're there
for a
watching
tenner.
the whole time.
I highly recommend it for like the novelty of a VR headset.
One of those.
How much was it?
About a tenner. Look, they're on Amazon for about a tenner. There's loads of them, but just get a cheap one because you just want it for like the sort of like experiencing a VR headset, and it's really good.
So maybe we should do a. I'll try and do. Maybe we should do a product review.
It's really good.
And I'll just email everyone and see how many free ones we can get. And we'll start the trend for them.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned it, and I was like, I have to get one of these and try it. And I was so skeptical, and it's actually amazing.
I'm going to have to give it a go.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But other games we haven't spoke about, which we will speak about next week now, Quantum Break, Mirror's Edge 2, Roller Coaster Tycoon World. Oh yes, the next best thing to hit PC. Garden Warfare 3, Far Cry Primal, and Rocket League coming to Xbox One. So we will get into those next week.
Yeah, and I would also at some point I've been playing The Witness, and I would love to talk about that some.
Oh, The Witness. Yeah, I'll even write that down right now.
I have
Witness.
many.
And I forgot to mention that Dragon Cancer when we were on the whole emotional vibe.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to. We'll do an emotional game section.
Oh yeah.
Or a pointless puzzle game section. And we should be good to go.
Pointless puzzle
But-
game. Ah.
Yeah, pointless
Not a
puzzle
fan
games.
of
There's
it.
loads of them. Like Unravel.
Unravel's a platformer. I don't think that counts.
There's some puzzles in there that are just pointless.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna buy it. Just
we should wrap this up
know.
before I start going off again. But I'll say thank you to anyone listening. Remember to check www.gamertime.co.uk for all our latest news, reviews, and opinion. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on / or at GamerTime UK. Thank you, boys,
Yeah.
Welcome.
and I'll see you next week.
See you next
later.
time.